Okay, it's recording now. So I'm gonna sit down here. It's on you.
Hi.
How you doing, Nana?
Fine.
I think I'm out of picture, so it's just
You,
not you.
you don't want to be in the picture?
No, that's. Let me see.
You sit down, I hope you can see.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think you're in it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let me. Okay,
Yeah, go sit down. Let me see if I can see you in it.
I'll sit over here.
Yeah, you're both in it.
Okay, and does it record on?
Okay.
It should, yeah, I didn't run that.
Yes, record. Okay, Nathan's gonna start this interview
Okay,
with Mom.
so Nana.
What does he call it? Person to person?
Person interview? Yeah. A family history interview or something?
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Oh, okay.
So why'd you do it?
This is no. This is your life.
This is your life.
This is
There you go.
my, this is my life.
Yeah.
I'll go get some more
Maria
tapes then.
Consuelo Macmillan.
What's her maiden?
No.
What's her maiden name? Okay.
My maiden name is Gardner.
Oh, Gardner. That's right. Charlie Gardner. Okay,
Maria
so
Consuelo Gardner Wilkinson McMillan.
Palmer.
I guess Palmer.
Yeah, I was born in the Philippines
Garrison
Manila.
Sanders.
in 1917. So that makes me 82 years old.
And then,
So I'm not bad for an old hand.
who are your parents?
My parents are Rosario Benito de Gardner, that's my mother, and my father was Charles Augusta Gardner.
And then, where's your mom born at? Where's she
My
born?
mother was born in Spain,
And then,
Valladolid.
where at?
Valladolid is a town in Spain. Castilla de la Vieja is a Castilian town.
Oh, okay. And then, how about your dad? Where was he born?
I think he was born in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Why was your dad born in Hong Kong? He's not Chinese, right? He's
No, he's not Chinese. His father's German, Irish, and his mother is Portuguese.
Oh, what did his father do over in Hong Kong then?
Oh, his father was a very clever engineer. He worked in the rope company. There's people that make ropes, you know. And he designs the machine and he builds it, and that he runs the whole company.
And then, so how did Rosario and Charles meet?
Oh, my mother and my father, they met in school. My mother was in a convent, Italian convent in Hong Kong, and she has a good friend. Her name is Elsie Gardner, and Elsie been trying to match my mother up with her brother.
Oh.
Yeah. So they finally got matched up, and then a romance came out from that.
And this is they're a high school, is that, or college, or
Oh, finishing school.
finishing school?
Yeah, my grandfather sent her from the Philippines to Hong Kong to go to convent there with the sisters, because she had a boyfriend in the Philippines and they didn't like him.
Oh.
So they wanted to separate her and sent her to Hong Kong. And she met my father there.
Did her father like Charlie Gardner at all? Do you know or not?
Her father?
Yeah.
I suppose so.
I guess they got married. So.
Yeah.
So you were born in the Philippines?
Yes,
What city were in the Philippines?
in Manila.
In Manila? And then you lived there and grew up there?
Well, I traveled a lot from the Philippines to Hong Kong. My father had some business in the Philippines, a merchant business, and then he would travel up and down Hong Kong and Manila.
And so where'd you go to school at as far as like grade school,
Oh, I've been to
high school?
school all over the country. I went to school in Japan, in Kobe, and I went to school in Hong Kong, And I went to school in China, in Shanghai.
Mm.
And I went to school in the Philippines, in Manila.
Did you go through high school, or did you go to college at all, or?
Well, I went 1 year to college in Hong Kong there.
So now, when you're younger, say high school or junior high school, do you have any like fond memories or interesting stories to tell about yourself back then?
Oh, let me tell you. I have all kinds of stories. I was a boarder in school. My mother was in Japan, and she sent me to Hong Kong to go to the convent, the same convent where she was brought up,
Oh,
Italian convent, and I was a boarder there.
is that the same one that that Dad went to, or that helped out?
No,
Carmelite Sisters?
no,
That's different.
different.
Okay.
This is the Italian sisters.
So you went to school there. Did they have like were you a cheerleader or anything like that, or? Did you
No,
have, like-
they were very old-fashioned, very strict, religious type of school. Only girls, no boys, nothing.
So you couldn't like? Did you have like a? You dated all then when you were in
Oh
high
no,
school?
nothing like that.
Right.
Very strict.
So let's see. Let me think what else. Okay. Tell us about when you met your first husband.
Oh, let's see. I met him in Hong Kong.
And how old were you when you met him?
About
Got a lot of stuff in there.
18 maybe.
And his name was James Wilkinson.
Yeah, Jimmy, we
Jimmy?
call him.
And how old was he? Do you know?
He was about maybe 3 years older than I am.
And how did you guys meet?
Oh, when I first met him, I didn't like him at all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I couldn't stand him. And then we got to go out on dates and have parties and go picnic, you know. So we went together.
So when he asked you to marry you, can you tell that story? How that transpired when he proposed to you?
Oh, my mother didn't like him at all.
Oh.
And also my aunties all didn't like Jimmy.
No, no one liked him.
They were really upset with me. So
Did he like go on one knee and he propose to you, or did he like take you to a certain spot and ask you
No.
to marry you, or?
I really don't remember. He's always on his knees to me.
Oh, yeah. So then, did you guys get married to have a big wedding, or did you elope, or did you
Well, we eloped and got married.
in Hong Kong, or?
We eloped to Canton.
Oh, And then you got married there. So
Yeah.
what did your mom and dad think when you got back?
Oh, they were really upset with things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I was foolish. But anyway, it all turned out all right. I got 3 lovely children from him.
Now, how long after you got married did you have your first child?
Oh, right away.
Right away?
Yeah.
Now, did you get married and have Charlie 9 months after you got married, or was
Yeah,
it like 6
9.5
months
months.
No,
9.5 months.
9.5 months, huh?
Yeah.
That's funny. And then you had Angel or Henrietta next. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Harry and Angel.
So, how far apart were they? It was.
Angel was born in Macau. You know, it was during the war.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
So Charlie and Hattie, they were born in Hong Kong. And then the war broke out when Hattie was 1 year old. So we escaped from Hong Kong. We escaped to Macau.
During World War II, right?
Yeah, that was when the Japanese came to Hong Kong. You know, we were visiting my mother for the weekend in Kowloon side, and the Japanese planes was flying over our house, you know, And we thought, oh, the
That would be great if it would fit.
RAF, Royal Air Force, they're having a maneuver
Mm-hmm.
in the sky, and then it turned out to be Japanese. They were firing guns, you know.
Uh-huh.
So we ran inside the house and
Long.
hit ourselves until it was over. Then we came out again, and they all say,
You know
what, I
Whoa,
wonder if I
whoa,
had
you
it.
Mm-hmm.
really we were terrible frightened. And
It's the same length.
our house was in Hong Kong side, and we were in Kowloon side when
Wow.
this,
Mm-hmm.
and we couldn't cross over the ferry because the ferry
Oh, it's
stopped
longer
running
than
and everything.
It was the same as that.
But luckily I was working
Oh,
for
now that I
Dairy
move that
Farm,
one in here
and
now.
Dairy Farm have their own launch, so the launch would take the people up and down Hong Kong and Kowloon.
Mm-hmm.
So
Too much in that little-
we were able to escape to Hong Kong side,
Oh wow. Mm-hmm.
and my brother has an office in Hong Kong, in the same building where my office was. So we were very lucky. We went there and we slept in my brother's office on the floor, on the rug, all of us, all the children and my mother's children. My mother has 5 kids, you know. Virginia, Baby, Frankie, Bobby, and myself. So we were all there. And then we tried to go to Macau.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to go to Macau because the boats are all booked up and everything. But we were very fortunate. My brother got connections, and we all went to from Hong Kong. We all took the big Chinese junk and went over to Macau. And while we were going, you know, my mother's house in Kowloon side was bombed by the RAF and also by the Japanese. They threw shells,
Oh,
you
both
know.
of them, huh?
Yeah. And the front of the house, the veranda was all collapsed. A bomb hit it. And from outside, when you look up, you look like the house is all ruined, dirty, you know, all mud. And we was able to save a lot of things because no looters went in. But the house next door to us, identical house, like a twin house, was all intact, and that was one of the nicest houses in the area. And the Japanese, what do you call, gendarme, they call them. It's like Gestapo, you know, in Germany. But this is the Japanese. They made that their headquarters. So we were right next door to the Japanese Gestapo, you know, and the looters did not dare come in to steal our things.
Oh,
So
'cause,
yeah,
So close to that.
yeah, because when they catch you looting, they take you to the mountains and they chop your head.
Oh wow.
They go out 5 o'clock in the morning. They round up all the thieves and everything, and they take them out there and chop their heads off. So we were able to come back to Kowloon side after when the Japanese won the war and took Hong Kong, you know. So we were able to come back to our home, and the Japanese next door, they were very nice to us because we could speak Japanese. You
Oh.
see, my father lived in Japan. He was a consul, Bolivian consul in Japan, and we went to school there. We lived there, so we could speak Japanese.
Oh yeah.
And that made the Japanese people happy because they could communicate with some
Yes.
of the foreigners, you know. So they took us to the house, and for us to come back to our old place, which was all broken up from outside, but
Yeah.
in the back the back part of the house was all intact, was nice. All our beds and sheets and everything was still there yet, you know. So we stayed there until we could get to Macau, and when we left for Macau, the commander of the colonel next door, the Gestapo people. They gave my brother a letter of like reference, to say that these people are okay, give them safe passage, and he signed his name. He was a colonel, was a big shot. So my brother got that letter and he kept it in his pocket. When we went to the dock to catch the boat to go to Macau, the people, was all lined up waiting to get into the boat, and the Japanese will search them. And my brother has the money saved up, and he bought gold bars, So money is no use because paper money is no value.
Yeah.
Hong Kong money is nothing, and Japanese, they print some kind of paper for money, which is nothing. The thing that counts is gold and pieces of gold bar, like a piece of biscuit, like a Graham crackers, those kind like that. And they got all these gold bars. So I got some gold bars and my sister got gold bars. All our money we converted into buy one piece of gold bar, and we put it in our shoes, inside under our stockings. We wear heavy stockings with the gold bar underneath, and we put on our shoes and we went to the pier. When we were there, the Japanese were searching, and the people that was in front of us, the Chinese, make them take off their shoes. Oh my God, we were so frightened. If they found a gold, they would hate us right away because we were smuggling and everything, We don't know what to do, we were trembling. And my brother, Bobby, he got the bull by the horn. He went straight up to the commanding officer that was in charge, one of the soldiers that was in charge of the passengers, to go on the boat. He said, he showed him his letter he got from the colonel, and he said, we trying to catch this boat and we want to board it, you see. So the Japanese officer said, okay, who are your families? He said, all that is my family. My sisters and their husbands and the children. That time I had Hattie and Charlie already. And he said, okay, tell your family to step aside, step out of the line, and come up here front. So we did that, and when we walked, our leg was like rubber because we couldn't. We were nervous, frightened, and we had a gold bar in our shoes. So he said, okay, stay there. And we were standing there hoping, he won't make us take out our shoes. But luckily he said, okay, now you can board. So we went up that ladder, there was a big Chinese junk, those big junks you see in the newspaper, in the postcards of Hong Kong junk, one of those kind of junk with the big sails, And we went into the junk and we found a corner. We all sat together in the corner and just sit down there and didn't dare move anymore, just waiting for the boat to leave, And then when finally it left Hong Kong, was about, maybe 2 o'clock or something like that. The boat was out in the ocean there when bandits come.
Oh, wow.
Chinese pirates. They came and want to rob the people because they don't know that everybody traveling with money and possessions, they all have. I forgot to tell you, and my mother was very lucky. She carried the statue of St. Jude. We have great devotion to St. Jude. And she had the statue of St. Jude, and it was a plaster of Paris statue. Inside they are hollow. So she turned the statue upside down and cut the rim off, and stuffed all her jewels inside. And some American money that she has, she shoved all her money, her jewel and gold bars, what could get in. She put it all inside and then she sealed it up again, glued it back on, and held it in her hand, you know. When and we went through the Japanese like that, and then they pointed to my mother's statue and said, "What is this?" So my mother said, "That's my God, you know. I worshipped him." You know, the Japanese, they are quite religious, the Buddhists, you know. When they go to war, they carry their temple with them. Like a house, a pagoda temple, and they would carry it with them when they go into war, or when they move into a new house, they put it in there, you know. And when they go fighting, they carry it in the field with them. So they know God, you know, and so they say, well, we must be religious like them, you know. My mother with this statue of Saint Jude, she says, "My God, I pray to him." And the Japanese say, "Okay," you know. So my mother, what a relief, you know, she almost died of a heart attack, and they say, "Let me hold it with all her jewels." That's how she was able to save a lot of jewels after when she was selling pieces of jewel in Macau to live on, you know.
How long you live in Macau?
Till the end of the war, 5 years.
Wow. Because it was Portugal, right? Portugal wasn't in
Yeah,
the war,
Portugal
so
was neutral. So
So now what happened to the bandits? You said the bandits, Chinese bandits chasing
yeah,
you?
when we were in the boat going from Hong Kong to Macau, the bandits, you know, came and they started to fire cannon at us, you know.
Uh-huh.
But they were missing us, you know. We were going full speed. They have big engines, you know, running those junk boats. So was one thing is now the Japanese, we got from Japanese, now we're going to the Chinese bandits, the pirates, you know. Oh, it was horrible, because many of them got caught up and they stripped them from everything, take all their clothes off, and they had things tied around the body, you know, so they make them but luckily it didn't happen to us.
You guys outran them, basically?
We outran them. So it was quite something.
So now when this happened, how old was Charlie and how old was Henrietta?
Henrietta was born 1940 and that was 1941. They were only 2 years old. And Charlie was your father. Charlie's your father. He was about 4.
So they were really young, huh?
Yeah.
And then you guys lived there for 5 years. After the war, did you go back to Hong Kong?
When the war was over, we went back to Hong Kong.
And what happened to like your house and all your things?
It was there, but it was all stripped. When the Japanese left afterwards, you know, the looters went in, they broke steps, the wood, the railing to use for firewood, for cooking.
So you went back and everything
Yeah.
was destroyed. You guys rebuild your house then, or what?
No, we didn't. We just let it go.
Wow. Now, when Charlie was growing up, what are some stories about him? He stayed in Hong Kong until how old?
Oh, he finished school in Hong Kong, and then he came to the States in, I don't know what year it was. He must have been in his 20s.
So when he was a kid, was he a lot of trouble, or was he a good kid, or?
He was a good boy.
You ever have to scold him for anything? Like what are some things that he's done when he was bad when he was a kid?
I don't really think of anything he did bad, you know.
Using this tape to dig up dirt on his dad. Hey, any piece of info I can throw in my dad's face? You got anything?
See, like when I was a kid, I lit a field on fire and got in trouble from my father. Did you ever do anything like that?
No, nothing like that. He was a good boy.
What did he spend his time doing? Fishing and running
Fishing,
around?
swimming with his friends, and he was always good-hearted boy. He helped the sisters, the Carmelite sisters in the convent. See, his father, Jimmy, afterwards got a job as a warden in the prison, and they have a convent close by called the Carmelite Sisters, and he would help them a lot. He's still helping them now. They're in Hawaii, you know,
Yeah.
and he goes over and help them to build things and all that.
So now, when did you and Jimmy get divorced, and how old?
Oh, we got divorced in 1948, 47.
So the Charlie and Henrietta, they were all 9, 10
Yeah,
years old.
yeah.
And my dad stayed with Jimmy, and then Henrietta and Angel stayed with you. Is that what
Yeah,
happened? So now, Henrietta, how was any interesting stories about Henrietta when she was younger?
No, she was a very good girl.
You have any bad kids at all?
I don't have any. I'm blessed. My children are all wonderful kids.
Nothing about my mom.
Now,
Compared to now, she's
Right now.
now the kids are wild, you know. Really.
So now, Henrietta and Angel, they grew up and went to school in Hong Kong all the way through high school. Is that right?
No, Hong Kong, and then they came to the States in San Mateo.
Mm-hmm. Now, when did you meet Frank McMillan?
Oh, well, you see, my mother and I, we came to the States in 1940, what year was that? 49 or 50. We came to the States because I'd never been to the States and I always wanted to go to the States. So my mother and I, we took a trip from Hong Kong. We came to the States.
Now, at this time, you thought your father was dead, right, during the war?
Oh yeah,
Okay. So you guys came to the United States?
yeah. And for a visit, my mother has a sister here. She had one sister married to an American, and she married to an Englishman.
Oh, okay.
Why are they here to hold this thing up?
So my mother came to visit her sister. We stayed with her.
It's
With
here
my
to make this
auntie.
even.
No, you gotta take it out.
And then-
and get all the things downstairs.
We went back.
There's
We
only
wrote
one
to
downstairs.
Virginia to my sister in
How many
Hong
you got
Kong and said, what
There's
can
one
we...
missing. There's only
This was in the month of October, September when we came in this. And we asked Virginia, what can we do to bring to Hong Kong to sell, to make some money, you know? Maybe it will help to pay the expense of our travel. And Virginia said, well, maybe it's going to be Christmas time when you come back. Maybe you should get some dolls and toys and things to bring back to sell. And besides dresses, we brought dresses back to Hong Kong. And when we came, we were looking for a wholesale house, and we found out that the Merchandise Mart in San Francisco, on 9th and 8th Street in San Francisco, on Market Street, the corner of 9th, is a big building that's known as the Merchandise Mart building. And that's where all the wholesale offices are. So we went there,
Well, there's only
and
three.
we got a pass to go in, and we went to look for toys and dolls, you know. And when we went there was one shop that had lovely dolls and things. So Mommy and I went in, you know, and that shop was owned by Frank McMillan.
Can you turn the light on? Thanks.
Was owned by Frank McMillan. That's how I met Frank.
Oh,
We went there to buy dolls and we met him. So he right away took an interest in me, you know. So he would correspond to me by letter, you know, business like, although I lived in San Francisco where his office was, you know, but still he wrote to me and says, I placed your order in and you're going to get it soon and all these kind of things.
So you want to keep in touch with you? Huh?
Yeah, all the time.
So then, how long after you first met Frank that you were married with?
Well, I met him and then I left him. I went travel all around the United States with a girlfriend of mine from Hong Kong, Nina Lopez, and we went. And when we came back, you know, to Los Angeles, I spoke to Frank on the telephone and said that I'm in Los Angeles now, and he told me, "Oh, what a coincidence! I'm going down to Los Angeles, you know." So he said, "Can I meet you someplace?" I gave him the address and phone number of my girlfriend that we know from Hong Kong who lives in Los Angeles. Her husband is a medical student. He was going through college internship in Los Angeles, and he's a famous neurosurgeon now. Sherbert.
Sherbert?
Yeah, Don Sherbert.
Hey,
And the girl's name is Angelita. Her mother and my mother, they were good friends from way back in the Philippines then, and then in Hong Kong again. So we, I told Frank, you know, that I was going to be in Los Angeles for some time. So he said, "What a coincidence! I'm going to plan." But he just returned from Los Angeles that night, and he's going to drive all the way back just to see me from San Francisco. So when we arrived, you know, I saw him, and he said, "Oh, hello." I think he went his arm like that. I took my hand out and I shook hands with him. He was, you know, he thought I was going to give him a hug or kiss. I don't do that, you know. So
No, don't think
So you shook his hand.
yeah, I gave him my hand, and so he shook hands, and then my mother said, "Oh, that man loves you." I said, "Oh no, he doesn't." She said, "Yeah, he's crazy for you." Mama said that to me. So we went home and I introduced him to my girlfriend and everything. And that night we went out on a date, the first date I had with him. And when I came home, my mother said to me, "Oh, how was that it happened?" No, when we came home, I was standing in the wall like that, and he had his both arms
around you.
against the wall, you know, like that, and with me in the middle, you know. So I said, "Stop it, Frank," you know. I went under his arm and came out on the other side. It was funny, you know. I knew he was crazy for me, but I was just
Pretty hard to get, huh?
yeah, very hard. And then we went out on that date that night, you know. And when we came home, he wanted to marry me. Proposed to me that same night. Only one kiss only I gave him, you know.
Boy, that's a powerful kiss, huh?
I gave him, you know, just one kiss, and then he said, "Oh, let's make this permanent." I said, "What?"
So on your first date, he asked you to marry him?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know
And then he said, "Let's make it permanent." You know, that's what he said.
that.
I said, "You proposing to me?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Frank, but you don't know, I can't do anything. I can't even cook. I can't wash. I can't run a house. I don't know nothing. And on top of that, I have 3 kids. You know, who will marry a woman with 3 children?" He says, "Never mind." He said, "I have one." Oh, he was cute. And then when I came back home that night, you know, my mother was waiting up for me. She didn't sleep. And she said, "What, did he propose to you?" I said, "How can, first date?" She said, "Yeah, but I know he would, you know." So I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, good." She said, "He's a good man, you know. I like him." She said that to me. I said, "That's good." So when we left Los Angeles, we were going to take the Greyhound bus to come back to San Francisco. But he said we could ride with him. He drove down in his car. So my mother and I rode with him, you know, all the way back from Los Angeles, from San Francisco. No,
LA to
yeah,
San
from
Francisco.
LA, yeah, Los Angeles to San Francisco in the car. And he lived in San Mateo, which is south of Los Angeles, San Francisco. So in San Mateo, he said, we better spend the night in his house, you know. And then we'll, because he'd be tired driving all the way. So my mother said, good idea. We can find out more about him.
Oh, it's like so.
You know, you find out how he lives, what kind of a husband he's going to be, you know. And when we went to, in the meantime, I didn't know he called up his neighbor to, he said that he's going to bring a house guest, and he said, can you please tidy up my plate, change my bed sheets and everything, you know, fix up, because I'm bringing it. My Gil and her mother, you know, he must have told her that he met someone he loves and all that. So when we arrived, the house was nice and neat and clean. Everything was all right. And then he had one section of the room with a little table and chair for his daughter Janine, you know.
I think you have to lift it.
He was in a very bad car accident, you know that, Frank?
Yeah, I heard of.
Just before Christmas, on the, I think it was on the 22nd, like that, of December, you know. He was driving back from San Mateo to Tacoma, because his family lived in Tacoma, his mother and father. And he was coming, and his wife was from Tacoma too, and they were coming back here for Christmas. And on the way up, you know, near Mount Shasta there, he got into a car accident, 2 cars involved, and his wife died outright, and he got 3 kids. 2 of them died.
Wow.
You know, the first day, one died, and then the second day, the other one died, you know. And then the third day, Janine was the only one that survived, but she was like the most critical, because she was in a coma. They found her in the road, and she got pneumonia, and she was in a coma, and they thought she would die, the third one. So they were holding up the bodies of the 3 of them, the mother and the 2 kids, you know, to bring them to Tacoma to bury them here. But luckily for Frank, his daughter Janine survived the accident.
Wow.
So that's why when we, you know, came up here.
So you're talking about you and Mama went to Frank's house?
Yeah. Yeah, so Mama said, oh good, we can see, you know, how he is. Then my mother said, he must be a good father. Look at him, he got the things for his children, for his daughter, nicely toys put aside, you know. So that was then we stayed there, you know. We went back to San Francisco to my auntie's house, and that was October September the 28th, like that. And we said to get married. He said, "Oh, I must marry him before I come back to Hong Kong." I said, "No." I said, "I'll marry you when I return next time." He said, "No, you must marry me before you go away," and this and that. But I keep on saying no, but I wanted to marry him before I leave, you know, because I know then I can come back easily. I'm a wife of an American citizen, you know. So I was making
Got it all figured out.
For all the old sentimental reasons, huh?
I was making you think, you know. Poor Frank. he was really, he was such a good man. So,
So now,
and I told him I can't do anything, which I couldn't even boil water when I came to the States, when I married him, you know. I boiled potato and I burned the whole potato. I put a small pot of potato, fill up with water, and I fill up the pot with the potato. The water was all gone and the potato is still raw. I really didn't know how to boil. Even frying eggs, I break all the eggs up. Oh gosh.
shells and stuff like that.
So luckily I had Hattie. Hattie helped me a lot. She helped me to do the ironing and the washing, you know. I don't even know how to iron even now.
So you got married before you left for Hong Kong there? Or?
Yeah, so we married on the 10th of December, October.
Yeah,
Double 10, I say I married double 10.
10, huh?
Chinese Republic Day, the anniversary of the Chinese Republic, double 10. So it was a big holiday in Hong Kong too. Anyway, we got married on the 10th of October in my girlfriend's house, Winnie Dutton. She and her husband gave the reception. They were Frank's neighbor when his wife was alive with the 3 kids. So they were very happy that Frank got married, you know. And
so now, how long was it between your first date and then when you got married? Was that
what do you mean how long?
the very first date that you had with Frank, and then when you got married, was that 1 month, 2 months, 6 months?
No, not that long. Maybe 2 weeks.
Wow, really?
Well, on the 10th that's 2 weeks there. About a month.
About a month?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's not too bad. Okay, wow. And then you went back to Hong Kong and packed your stuff up and came back to the United States?
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't that easy. Had to apply for a visa for Charlie and Hattie. They came back with me because Charlie and Hattie, they were born in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong comes under the British quota. So they could come easily, you know, to the States. But Angel was born in Macau, and that comes under the Portuguese quota. And Portuguese quota was 5 years all booked up, you know, it was very long quota. And a short quota only for the Portuguese. So that's why I came back first with Charlie and Hattie, and Angel had to stay behind, and she came back later, about 2 years later.
Wow.
Poor thing, you know. She was all alone in Hong Kong. With Avo, this is when Avo was interested, you know, in Angel was Avo's pet. So, you remember Avo?
Yeah,
He looked after Angel, and he always gives her pocket money and to go to the movies, you know.
Now, who's Albo? Was that Mama's boyfriend or something?
No.
Or?
Well, afterwards she married him when my father died, you know. Because he's Portuguese and he couldn't stay in the States. He had a Portuguese quota.
Okay.
So he had to go to Canada or out of the country to renew his visa to come back again. So it was very difficult, and by her marrying him, we told her we arranged the marriage.
You guys got all set up, huh?
Yeah. The daughters, your mommy, Auntie Baby and Virginia and myself, you know, we arranged already.
No,
you know.
we didn't have it at the house there.
Now, how old were they when they got married?
Oh, I don't know. They must have been old. They must have been about 70 years.
Yeah, because that was like 1970 something or another.
Yeah,
Cause I
yeah.
think I remember that when they
Yeah,
were married.
I got some pictures of them.
So now Henrietta and Charlie came here with you,
Yeah.
and then now my dad. How long did he stay here before he went back to Hong Kong?
Oh, I think 1 or 2 years. 2 years.
Did you miss Hong Kong, or just didn't like the United States, or how come you went back home? You wanted to-
He wanted to be with his father.
Oh, uh-huh.
It's funny, it should be noted that before this tape started, she said, I don't have any stories.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Now, when did you guys move to Tacoma? How'd that happen?
Oh, well, we were, Frank was in the toy business, you know, factory representative. He had factories that he worked for all over the states, and he had each salesman have their own territory. So Frank has the territory of Oregon, all of Oregon, California, Hawaii, Washington, and Nevada.
Wow.
So 5 states, you know, he had to cover, and that means he has to travel all the time also. So he was making all these trips and everything. Then what did you ask me?
Oh, as far as moving to Tacoma?
Yeah. So, you know, he got sick one day. He got a heart attack.
Wow.
And the doctor said that he better cut down, you know, traveling so much because it's bad for his heart. So he gave up some of his, he gave up the, you know, California is very big country to cover, because there's the Southern California and Northern California. San Francisco is a big town, and Los Angeles is a big town too. So he gave up Southern California, Los Angeles, which was lots of factories and shops and everything, you know. He had to travel a lot. He gave that up. He cut down on his business. So he was making less money then. And he gave up Nevada, and he just kept Northern California and Oregon and Washington. So he said those 3 will keep him busy. So, and he kept Hawaii, because we always go there in the summer. And that he only does it once or twice a year, so it's not so bad. And when we went to Tacoma, he said, you know, we would like to move up here because it's more quiet. Life is more slow space than rat race in California. Rat race. So we did that, and we sold our house in California and moved up here. And he had a brother who was an alcoholic and was trying to go straight, you know, so he was helping his brother, and he bought a motel in Tacoma. It's called the Fort Lewis Motel on I-5, you know, and Pacific Highway.
Okay.
And he bought that motel for his brother to run. And the brother was making good business there. He was very happy and doing well. Then we moved up and we built a house in the back of the motel. And we stayed there. 2-story place. Upstairs was our apartment. And we were looking for something in the meantime, and that's when I saw Thornwood. And I saw Thornwood, and I fell in love with Thornwood Castle. And I said, you know, to Frank, I said, I want that house, you know. He says, oh, it's too big or too overpowering, he said. I said, no, it's just right. And then he said, oh, we'll see. So we went to look at the house, and the man that owns that place, he wasn't in the market, nothing. He didn't intend to sell it, He was just sort of feeding us, to see. And then he told us that there's another man who wants to buy the place. But this fellow went to Canada for hunting and will be back next weekend, and I have to give him the reply now. If you're really interested, I'd rather you have it. I said, well, we'll think about it. And then I went home and told Frank, and he says, oh, no, it's too, He said, that man is just only saying that to entice you to buy the place. But sure enough, he wasn't telling us a lie. Really?
Yeah.
That fellow came back and bought the place. And when we went to see him, he said, it's sold already. I just signed the paper this afternoon. We went to see him in the evening, I said, oh my goodness. I came back home. That was the first fight I had with Frank in Busan. We never fight or anything, But that was the first argument I had with him. I was so mad. I said, I left San Mateo to come up here. I left my mother, my father, my sisters, and all my family, and come up here. And I have no one. I'm all alone, and your daddy was already gone already. I think I wonder he was married. Anyway, and Hattie was married already with children, and they were staying in California also. So here I was all alone. So I got so mad, I cried, and I said, and then he said, okay, I tell you what I'll do, he said to me. If you can buy it back for the same price that he wants to sell it to us, I will buy it. I said, truly? He said, yes. I said, how can a man want to sell back for the same price he bought it for? He wants to make a profit, But anyway, I will try. So I went and met the new owner, and I went to his office to talk to him. And he was surprised to see me. I think I must have shocked him because I could talk to him in my funny way of talking, I said, I must have that house and I'll buy it from you, I said, he says, I'm sorry, I already bought it. I want it, I have plans for the place. I said, well, I talk to him. And I told him, I want the house and the lakefront, where the lake is, and the beach, and there was another part of Thornwood. You remember there's a sunken garden? Next to the sunken garden is a
couple houses there, right?
Yeah, it's a house that is built on a lake, like a pond.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A fishing pond or what, lily pond. And they built a house there. But that time it wasn't built, was still a pond there with lily pond like that. And a big lot there, 1 acre almost, So I said to him, I will give you that as a gift. And I keep all the other things, So he was thinking, I said, please. Maybe he was thinking, well, the lily pond is worth about, you know, that time maybe it was about 20,000. Not bad profit for. He didn't even register the castle
Oh,
yet.
he signed
He
paper,
just-
we had a chance.
Yeah, you know.
Uh-huh.
So he didn't have to pay the tax or what, you know. So we talked about it and talked. So finally he agreed to me. I had to wait. I ran home. I told Frank. He said, "What?" He didn't expect me to
Oh, pull
get
it off, oh, yeah.
to pull a deal off. Who could do such a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Only me,
Yeah.
you know. So they didn't know the power of a determined woman.
Yeah, really.
Especially from Hong Kong, you know. My goodness me. So that's how we got Thornwood.
Wow.
And that was in 1965 when we moved up to Tacoma.
Mhm.
And we bought Thornwood and I lived in there until just this last 2 years I
Yeah.
moved up. I sold the place. I'm really regretting it, but it's too late now. I can't do anything anymore.
So now, when did Frank pass away? How long ago was that?
He passed away in 1975.
Did he have a heart attack or?
He got a massive heart attack. He was in a coma. I mean, he cosmatosis.
Oh wow. And then after that, you met another gentleman. I can't remember his name. Who did you meet?
Jim Saunders.
Yeah, Saunders. Uh-huh.
He was my old boyfriend. He loved me since 1947, 48, from the Philippines
Oh.
till now.
Uh-huh.
Even now he calls me every week.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
from Hawaii.
he was living in California, right? And you guys got married.
No, he was living in Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. Oh, okay.
Somebody? Maybe Lisa. Open the door, Nathan.
Oh, go ahead. Is that anybody at all, or?
Paperboy.
Oh, Paperboy. Newspaper. So then you met Frank Saunders, and then after that you met Perry, right?
Yeah.
Write a check for, like,
So have you ever met any famous people like presidents or movie stars or?
whatever.
Oh, I met lots
She's just looking at What are you talking about?
I met lots of people.
How many days?
Like who's the most?
Nothing, November 10th.
What person stands out in your mind is like a famous person you've met?
I don't know. To me, they're all the same.
Oh, the same.
Yeah.
You ever meet any presidents
Where
at
did
all,
you
or
spend
not?
The president of Guatemala, I know him personally.
Oh, uh-huh.
His wife is the cousin of my foster daughter, Lisa, in Guatemala. I had dinner in his house with him, with the family sitting, you know.
Yeah, we get paid for that.
months, but I don't know.
Wow, that's nice.
We were gonna pay for 6
So, you got any questions, Mike? Because I think we're.
What you want to ask?
Yeah, I think.
But just right
Oh, I
now,
wanna
we
ask?
come back.
You want to know
Can I go eat
anything?
now? No. Start. I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it. You kind of caught me off guard there.
I mean,
I can't think of any other things that might.
61.
No, you've been to Montana, right?
They usually
Tell me about my dad and my mom's wedding.
Oh,
Your
I flew up for your father's and mother's wedding, and they got married, and I went with him on his honeymoon.
I usually get a bill,
He took
and you
me.
can pay 3
We
months,
went
6
to,
months a year.
Hard to believe that marriage didn't
And
last.
that's what I do. But I didn't
But you know, he was so cunning when we went to our honeymoon. I mean, his honeymoon. We went on his honeymoon. We went to this lodge. What do you call?
Manny Glacier?
Well, you should call
Mary
up.
Glacier.
The money, you should
Yeah,
call
Manny
them up.
Glacier.
Just
Manny-
stop the paper.
Yeah.
Beautiful
They
place,
refund you?
Montana.
Not
This
yet.
glacier
They're
with,
supposed to.
with all the
No, they send it.
cabins like Swiss Alps
Well, you should call
design,
them
you
and
know.
tell them that you stopped the
And,
paper and you were at that address you want the credit to be
The
credited to
rooms
this
were
address.
long,
And then what do we owe?
long corridor.
3 months or
No,
6 months in
rooms
advance.
all the way. And you know what Charlie did? He put me in the first room,
6 months.
and he went to the end of the corridor to the last room. He made sure I didn't hear anything or was out of his sight, you know.
Well, yeah. You can understand that, I think.
Yeah, but
Honeymoon evening, and
yeah.
That's funny. Well, that's I think a good
Can
story.
turn it
time.
off already.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and turn it off. So thanks, Nana.
Yeah. I don't know what else.
I'll have to think of some more stuff next time I come down. I can ask some
Okay.
more questions. Thanks, Nana. That was great.